Hello, welcome back to Friday's Football Today, where Mikel Antonio is our guest. And we're going to take a look now at the teams who are challenging right at the top of the table, because I think West Ham have played all of them now. So you're the best placed to take us through the challenges. Let's start with the team right at the top, and Chelsea under Antonio Conte. What did you make of them?
We played them beginning.
I could have cut that. They should have started. I like the way you kick the ball away afterwards, though. But they are good.
Yeah.
They are very good.
No, they are a very good team. We played them right at the beginning of the season where we're going through our fault time, but they've won 12 games in a row, got a new record and things like that, and they're very resilient. I do believe 8 points clear. I do believe they've won it, to be honest. I think they've won it.
Wow.
I think they're a bit lucky with their hardly got any injuries and things like that. But I think 8 points clear, being quite resilient, keeping all their best players fit. I think they've got it this season.
How are they to play against? Are they difficult to play against and to break down, or is it more about containing them?
We've not played them since they've changed their formation, so it'll be difficult for me to say right now. But I know by watching them a couple of times that they're definitely difficult to play against, especially how they break on their counters. It's frightening. Hazard, Pedro, Costa, Willian. When they go, it's frightening, and it's very hard to stop them, especially on the break. Because I think they're more of a countering team than anything else.
When you consider those players that he's named there, then you got Moses and Alonso all going when they're attacking, because you got Kante and you got Matic holding. You've got a massive wave coming at you, and they're all playing well, so it must be even tougher.
What about Manchester City? Because there was that heavy defeat in the FA Cup, and you played them in August. You've got them coming up as well again, where they won 3-1. How are they to play against?
I'll say they're the best team in the league. I'm not going to lie to you, they are frightening. They are frightening. And what they did to us, it gave us a false present that we are doing well against them, where we are pressing them and they're like going back and going back and going back and making us believe that we're pressing them well when we wasn't. They wanted us to come chasing. They wanted us to go to their centre halves so they can pick through us and score like the way they did.
So it's like they're bowling at you. They're just giving you nice, easy ones, and then they come at you with something that's going to get.
That's literally what they wanted. They wanted us to open ourselves out, because we thought, because we went back into our edge of our box and they couldn't get through us. And then we'll press someone and then they'll pass it back. They'll press the other person, they'll pass it back. They'll even go back to their keeper. And then we'll think, we've got them. And then they'll clip it over our head and they'll find someone. And the way they play in the holes with each other, it's just, I think the players that they have there, they've just not clicking enough to win the league. But I reckon they probably are the best team in the league.
Yeah, when it does work for them and when everybody is on form. But knowing that's what they do, that even when you think that you're up against them, even when you think that you're doing well, that you're pegging them back, they can still get forward and score goals against you. How do you start to cope with that? How do you start to prepare for that? I
feel against them, just don't, you can't feel like you need to press them. Just need to sit back in, stay solid, and then counter.
You got to counter them.
You have to counter them. You can't open yourselves out and show them, because then they've got the players to go through you. So literally sit back in and work off your counter. Don't try and press them high. Don't try and overdo it. Just literally, like people say, park the bus and work from there.
It's a real catch-22, because when you got Claudio Bravo who's not playing really well, then he might put someone like Otamendi, and Stones is being dropped. It's a real conundrum people might find themselves in, simply because I'd want to press them, because I think that you've got to try and take advantage of the fact that they've got players who are low on confidence. But then, like Mick says there, if they do bam, bam, bam into Silva, De Bruyne, you're 1-0 down. And I watched them against West Ham in the FA Cup, and it was one of the best performances I've seen for a team that, for me, had too much time some of the times, but they were real brilliant that day. Brilliant.
And with Manchester United, you know, the 2-0 defeat came at a time when they just seemed to have clicked, didn't they? You did not play them at a good time from West Ham's point of view.
I think this was...
That went off. I went on record. That was a terrible sending off.
I'm going to stop myself.
We can just say it was a turning point in the game.
It was a turning point in the game because we had 10 men for the majority of the game and we threatened. We had opportunity after opportunity as well.
But that's the thing. Although Manchester United were, in a really good moment at that time, it must have been one of those matches that as you said, you come away going, we did as much as we could in that.
Oh, definitely. I had 2 great opportunities. I had one where I think, I won't say great, I'll say it was an opportunity. And I had another one where I threw 1v1 and the guy managed to stick his foot out.
Yeah.
I tried to take it early so he wouldn't be ready, but he's got cat-like reflexes, he's a quality keeper. So if I take one of those opportunities, we're 1-0 up and literally we can sit back in and try and make him break through us, but I didn't take opportunities and we got punished for it. But it's just one of the things in games and with football. From there, I think they're unbeaten in so many games now, and they've picked up massively. And
well, they said 18.
Yeah.
Despite the fact they lost to Hull, he said it was only 1-0. But that's Manchester United and the way they're playing this. And even when they don't play well, even if you feel you go toe to toe with them, they have someone like Zlatan, and they can get goals out of their games. When West Ham took on Liverpool, it almost illustrated perfectly the pros and cons of what Liverpool's side does, didn't it?
Definitely. Going forward, they're all like red arrows. Going forward, all like red arrows is just defensively, and that's the exact same thing with Man City and Liverpool. They both got the same thing going wrong for them. Defensively, they're just...
Does it feel similar playing against Liverpool and City? Is it a similar sort of... do you have to counter it in the same way? Or?
Yeah. Definitely. You've got to play them both the same because going forward, they're frightening. Defensively, they are shaky. And how we won that game, we did what we should have did against Man City in the FA Cup. We sat back in, we made them get frustrated, and then we countered with me up top, spinning into corners because they struggle. They struggle when the ball goes over the top of them.
And that's obvious, and people know it, and that's starting to, and have been targeting it for a while now. In terms of Tottenham, I mean, they're not known for having a particularly shaky defence, but West Ham managed to get 2 goals against them.
Yeah, definitely.
How would you rate them in terms of the Premier League teams?
I think they're a quality team. Over the last few years, they've just been getting better and better and better, and now, they're definitely up there for contention now. It's crazy.
And it must be a strange game to play because of the rivalry between Spurs and West Ham supporters. It must be extraordinary.
The atmosphere is unbelievable every time we play them. And I like playing them because I was scored. But it's just...
I remember that game. West Ham played so well in that game. Son came on and they changed it with Son, but they weren't getting behind West Ham at all until he started to get behind on the left.
Yeah,
but
making
West Ham played really well in that game.
So that's Spurs. What about the other half of North London? What about Arsenal?
I missed that game, luckily.
that was probably the defining moment. But look, I mean, West Ham found it tough against Arsenal.
Sanchez, this game, I watched it. Sanchez, this game was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just one of those days where it was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And there's days where teams, it doesn't matter if there was 3 players around him that day. It didn't matter what we did. He was unstoppable and he just completely turned up. But it's Arsenal, quality team, got passes. It won't be.
His face is an absolute picture there because he just looks absolutely resigned to it. That was the game after which he came out and said, "We need more intensity. We need more from the players." How much did that need saying, and how much would the players have reacted to that anyway?
No, he kept telling us but it's just one of those things where when you're in a rut, it's hard to get the intensity, it's hard to get the drive, and you don't really want to go just because right now we're conceding back there.
Yeah.
So running forward, knowing that we're leaking. It's not running forward to attack, it's running forward to press people and stuff like that. When we know we're leaking goals there, we kind of want to sit in and go, all right, we're protecting our goal here, but you're not really protecting the goal there if you're giving them time. Arsenal are a quality team, and the way they pass, Iwobi, going forward, like Giroud, he's now turning up, scoring goals as well. It's quality, but now West Ham are on fire.
Things have changed a lot
Things have changed
since then. They certainly have.